Chosen one, stop scrolling. You didn't click this by accident. You've been asking for a sign in silence, in tears and prayers, in moments when no one could hear you. This is not coincidence. This is response. Tonight the veil is thin, and what you're about to hear is the answer you've been waiting for. The moment you asked God quietly, almost afraid to hope again. Not out loud, not for attention, but from that tired place in your soul where faith and exhaustion meet. And heaven heard you before the words even formed. Why the answer feels different. God doesn't always answer with noise. Sometimes the answer arrives as recognition, as a sudden knowing that hits your chest. As this video finding you at the exact moment you were about to give up. The ONES who ask deeply. Chosen ones don't ask for signs casually. They ask after enduring betrayal, delay, and isolation. They ask after choosing integrity when shortcuts were easier. That depth is why the answer carries weight. You were marked before you knew. Long before you questioned your path, you were selected. Not because you were perfect, but because you were resilient, intuitive, and willing to grow. Heaven saw what the world tried to overlook. Why you always felt different. You never fit neatly into rooms. Your spirit always felt larger than conversations around you. That wasn't arrogance. That was alignment calling you higher. The awakening that hurt. Your awakening didn't come softly. It came through loss, confusion, and endings you didn't ask for. But every fracture was creating space. Space for truth to enter. Signs you couldn't ignore. Repeating numbers. Sudden clarity after chaos. People falling away without explanation. These weren't random, they were repositioning. Why people misunderstand you. When you awaken, you threaten comfort. Not because you're loud, but because your presence reflects what others avoid within themselves. That's why they project, judge, or withdraw. The silencing of chosen ONES. Society doesn't silence you with chains. It silences you with doubt, with labels, with distractions. Anything to keep you from trusting your inner voice. The loneliness was necessary. Isolation wasn't punishment. It was preparation. God removes noise before delivering instructions, so you could finally hear clearly. Why your heart stays soft. After everything, you still care. Still feel deeply, still forgive. That softness is not weakness. It's evidence of divine strength. The burden you carry. You feel responsible for more than yourself. You sense shifts before they happen. You absorb emotions others ignore. That's the weight of awareness. What this sign really means. The sign isn't about comfort. It's about confirmation. You're not behind, you're not crazy. You're exactly where alignment begins. The door you were afraid to open. There's a decision you've been circling. A truth you've been avoiding. This sign says it's time. Delay is no longer protection. Why things are moving now. Momentum has returned to your life. Small shifts, unexpected conversations. That's divine timing activating. Heaven doesn't rush, but it never forgets. The old version can't follow. Who you were last season can't go with you. Habits, attachments, comfort zones. Release is required for elevation. This is the cost of becoming. Your intuition is sharpening. You feel things before they happen now. Discernment is louder than fear. That's not imagination. That's alignment locking in. Why this message found you. Algorithms don't explain this. Energy does. You were meant to hear this now. Because readiness has reached completion. The fire you tried to dim. You tried to be smaller to be accepted, quieter to keep peace. But your fire was never meant to be hidden. It was meant to guide. What God is asking of you. Trust the nudge. Act on the truth you already know. Stop asking for permission to be who you are. Obedience unlocks provision. The fear before the breakthrough. Fear always shows up right before expansion. Not to stop you, but to test your commitment. Walk anyway. Your purpose is bigger than pain. Everything you survived sharpened you. Nothing was wasted. Your story carries medicine for others. That's why it had to be real. The next chapter opens quietly, not with applause, but with peace, with clarity, with an unshakable knowing. This is your confirmation. You asked for a sign. This is it. Not hype, not coincidence, but recognition. Step into who you are. Stop shrinking your calling. Stop explaining your depth. You were never meant to be understood by everyone. Only aligned with truth. You are not alone. Others are waking up too. Finding this message. Feeling the same pull. That's why chosen ones find each other. Final activation. If this spoke to your soul, honor it. Stand up in your truth. Walk boldly into what's calling you. Heaven is watching your next move. Like this video if you felt seen. Subscribe to Chosen Wave if your spirit resonates here. Comment below, what sign were you asking God for? The shift you feel 18-9. Late at night, when the world goes quiet, you feel it strongest. That pull in your chest you can't explain. That sense that something invisible is rearranging your life. Nighttime is when truth speaks loudest to the chosen. Why rest has been difficult. Your spirit has been on alert. Not anxious, aware. You're sensing transitions before they fully arrive. Restlessness is often the soul packing for movement. The inner voice getting louder. What you used to ignore now refuses to be silenced. Your intuition speaks in clarity, not confusion. It nudges, warns, and confirms. That voice is alignment, not imagination. Why old dreams are returning. Visions you buried are resurfacing. Ideas you abandoned are calling again. That's not nostalgia. That's timing reopening doors you weren't ready for before. The test of patience. You were delayed, not denied. Waiting refined your character. If it came earlier, it would have broken you. Now you're built to hold it. Why people from the past reappear. Some return for closure. Some to test growth. Some to witness who you've become. Not everyone who returns is meant to stay. The discernment upgrade. You read energy before words now. You sense intentions behind smiles. This isn't judgment. It's wisdom earned through experience. Why you no longer tolerate certain things. What once felt normal now feels heavy. Conversations, environments, cycles. Your spirit rejects what no longer aligns. Growth creates intolerance for stagnation. The call to separation. You're being set apart, not isolated. Different paths require different distances. This isn't loneliness. It's consecration. The strength you underestimated. Look back at what should have broken you. Yet here you stand, aware, intact, evolving. That resilience wasn't accidental. It was planted within you. Why you attract attention without trying. Your energy speaks before you do. Light disrupts darkness naturally. Some admire it, some resent it. Both reactions confirm your impact. The unseen protection. Things didn't happen that should have. Situations ended before destroying you. That wasn't luck. That was divine intervention working quietly. The feeling of being watched over. Even in uncertainty, you feel held. Not controlled, not forced. Guided. That's how divine presence operates. Why your values clash with the world. You choose depth over distraction. Truth over trends. Meaning over approval. That contrast marks chosen ones instantly. The burden of seeing too much. Awareness comes with grief. You notice patterns others ignore. You see cycles repeating. But awareness also brings power to break them. The reason you keep outgrowing spaces. Rooms feel smaller because you're expanding. It's not arrogance. It's evolution. You can't shrink back once you've grown. The quiet confidence, forming. You no longer need validation. You move with certainty, not noise. Confidence is settling into your bones. That's spiritual maturity activating. Why you've stopped chasing. What's aligned no longer requires pursuit. You're attracting, not forcing. Peace replaced urgency. That's a sign you're on the right path. The moment of choice approaching. Soon you'll be asked to choose boldly. Comfort or calling. Familiar or destined. This decision will echo far beyond you. The energy shift around you. People treat you differently now. Some feel inspired, some feel uneasy. Your presence triggers awakening or resistance. Both are reflections, not responsibilities. The invitation you can feel. Life is nudging you forward. Opportunities disguised as risks are appearing. This is not pressure. This is permission. Why you're being called to lead. Not loudly, not forcefully, but by example. Your walk speaks louder than your words. Leadership flows naturally from authenticity. The final layers falling away. Old fears are losing grip. Old identities are dissolving. What remains is truth. And truth is unshakable. The strange calm before movement. There's a calm settling over you that feels unfamiliar. Not excitement, not fear. A quiet certainty. This calm is the signal that alignment has locked in. Why urgency left your spirit. You no longer feel rushed to prove anything. Deadlines stopped controlling you. When urgency fades, trust takes its place. That's divine timing replacing human pressure. The detachment you plan. You care, but not desperately anymore. You observe instead of react. Detachment isn't coldness. It's mastery over emotion. Why certain desires dissolved. Things you once wanted badly no longer pull you. Not because you failed, but because your taste refined. Alignment upgrades desire. The shift in how you pray. Your prayers are shorter now. More honest. Less begging, more listening. That's relationship, not ritual. Why you feel guided mid-conversation. Words come out wiser than you planned. You surprise yourself with clarity. That's not rehearsed intelligence. That's intuition flowing in real time. The inner authority awakening. You don't outsource decisions anymore. Advice sounds optional, not necessary. You trust your inner compass. Authority is returning to its rightful place. Why you've become unavailable to chaos. Drama feels exhausting instead of entertaining. Conflict without purpose repels you. Peace became non-negotiable. That boundary protects your calling. The old you trying to return. Sometimes doubt whispers familiar lies. Not to reclaim you, but to check if you'll listen again. You won't. Why you no longer explain yourself. Your silence speaks clarity. You realized explanations invite debate. Truth doesn't argue. It stands. The hunger for meaning. Surface-level success doesn't satisfy you. You crave impact, not applause. Depth over display. That hunger was placed there intentionally. Why you notice synchronicities. Repeating symbols. Unexpected confirmations. Perfect timing. Reality bends when alignment increases. The softening of your heart. Despite strength, your compassion grew. You understand pain without judgment. That softness is power refined. Not everyone earns access to it. Why you feel responsible for more. Your presence stabilizes rooms. People open up without knowing why. You carry calm into chaos. That's leadership without a title. The moment you stopped complaining, you noticed complaining drained your energy. So you chose awareness over reaction. Silence over noise. Growth always changes language first. Why you're attracted to stillness. Silence feeds you now. Solitude recharges you. Stillness is where instruction arrives. Chosen ones learn there first. The shift in your body. Sleep patterns changed. Appetite shifted. Sensitivity increased. The physical follows spiritual recalibration. Why you no longer fit old roles. You outgrew masks you wore for survival. People may miss the version of you they controlled. That's not your responsibility. Evolution never asks permission. The grief no one saw. You mourned quietly. Old dreams, old selves, old bonds. Grief cleans space for truth. You honored it privately. Why you feel called to create. Ideas press on your spirit. Messages want expression. Creation is how light moves through you. Resistance delays release. The discipline forming naturally. You don't force routines anymore. Alignment creates consistency. When purpose is clear, discipline follows. Effortless focus is emerging. The awareness of consequences. You see how choices ripple outward. Nothing feels small anymore. Every step carries weight. That's spiritual adulthood. The respect you feel for time. You guard your energy fiercely. Time became sacred. Wasted moments feel expensive. That awareness protects destiny. The call getting specific. The fog is lifting. What once felt vague is sharpening. Direction is narrowing. Precision replaces confusion. The edge you're standing on. You're between who you were and who you're becoming. This edge feels unstable but holy. Don't rush it. Transformation happens here. The weight of what you know now. You can't unsee what's been revealed. Truth changed how you move through the world. Ignorance is no longer an option. Awareness has responsibility attached to it. Why small talk feels empty. Surface conversations drain you. Not because you're superior, but because your spirit craves substance. Depth is now your natural language. The way your standards quietly rose. You stopped negotiating your values. What doesn't align doesn't get access. This isn't pride. It's self-respect finally activated. Why you no longer fear being misunderstood. Being misunderstood used to hurt. Now it feels neutral. You realized clarity is an ode to everyone. Peace matters more than perception. The courage forming in silence. You're braver than you speak about. You make hard choices without applause. Quiet courage builds real destiny. Noise was never required. Why you sense things before they happen. You feel shifts before they arrive. Endings before they announce themselves. Beginnings before they appear. Sensitivity is a gift when disciplined. The discipline of listening. You listen more than you talk now. Not out of fear, but discernment. Listening reveals what words hide. Why you've stopped seeking approval. Validation lost its power over you. You don't need agreement to move forward. Alignment replaced applause. That's freedom. The distance that saved you. Some separations protected your future, even when they hurt. God removes what can't go where you're going. Protection doesn't always feel gentle. Why you no longer argue with signs. When something feels off, you trust it. You stop demanding proof. Inner knowing matured. Faith grew roots. The shift in how you handle pain. Pain no longer defines you. It informs you, teaches you, refines you. Why your presence makes others uncomfortable. You expose truth without trying. Authenticity threatens masks. Your calm reveals inner chaos. That reaction isn't your burden. The strength of restraint. You could respond, but you don't. You could react, but you pause. Restraint is power under control. That's mastery. Why you're drawn to truth over comfort. Comfort delays growth. Truth accelerates it. You chose the harder path willingly. Chosen ones always do. The inner cleaning happening. Old habits are falling away naturally. Not forced. Not shamed. Released. Why you feel called to stand alone sometimes. Crowds blur purpose. Solitude sharpens it. You're not meant to blend in. You're meant to stand firm. The humility that grounded you. Awakening didn't inflate your ego. It humbled you. You know how much you don't know. That humility keeps you teachable. Why you've become selective with energy. Access to you is earned now, not demanded. Your energy fuels purpose. You guard it intentionally. The way your values show in action. You live what you believe. Not perfectly, but honestly. Integrity became visible. Why you no longer fear the unknown. Uncertainty excites you now. It signals expansion. The unknown is where faith walks first. You've learned to follow. The trust you're building within. You rely on yourself differently. Not ego. Alignment. Self-trust is returning home. Why you keep hearing the same message. Repetition isn't coincidence. It's emphasis. God repeats what you're ready to act on. Attention precedes activation. The feeling that this is only the beginning. Deep down, you know this isn't the peak. It's the threshold. Everything so far was preparation. What's coming requires who you've become. This is your activation moment. If this message hit your soul, don't ignore it. Energy responds to action. Like this video to seal this confirmation. Subscribe to Chosen Wave if you know you're not meant to walk this path asleep. Comment right now. What sign were you asking God for, and what did this message awaken inside you? Your words matter. Your presence matters. Chosen ones don't stay silent when truth calls.